and dragons, the news we crave. Under neon lights we take a stand. Knights and wizards across the land.
Aloha, my lovelies, and welcome back. It is 12:30. It is the 16th day of September. It is 75 degrees here at Site B. I am your humble guide to all the tabletop role-playing games, news, weather, and general internet nonsense that is known affectionately as the OGGM. Greetings from Fresno, Nevada. Today we are looking at Dishonored, the role-playing game, which I think is based upon a video game or book. I don't know. I literally know nothing about the Dishonored IP other than it's another thing. I think it's a video game, right? Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. Doesn't matter. So this is from the huge Humble Bundle we got. Remember the 57 game for $40 Humble Bundle? There's another one right this week of all Necromancer Frog God game stuff. So if you're a fan of their stuff, that's pretty cool. It's mostly adventures, a couple settings. So anyways, we're doing what we're doing with this, all the others that we've done here. This is not a review. This is a first impression. This is like, I'm walking to a game store. I see this game on the shelf. I open this game and I flip through it to see if it's something I want to purchase. Now, obviously the question, since I don't know anything about the Dishonored role-playing game or the Dishonored video game franchise, is can you hook me into this world I know nothing about to make me want to look in more? And more importantly, as when dealing with any established IP, is Dishonored a large enough world to host a role-playing game? Because not every IP converts to a RPG. Some don't. Some seem to, are obviously you could run RPGs in these settings and never interact with the main plot. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are both so huge with so much going on in those worlds that you could run entire multi-arc campaigns in the Star Wars universe or the Lord of the Rings universe and never have any interaction with the main characters or, even the main plot line in some of the worlds. So, and then there's other ones that are so unique and specific that don't work. Like, remember they were going to do an Assassin's Creed role-playing game last year, and now that seems to have faded away because maybe they realized, it doesn't work. Or I don't know, maybe it does. Anyway, so not knowing anything about the Dishonored role-playing game, Dishonored video game franchise, is the world big enough to host a tabletop role-playing game, or is it so specific that it doesn't work? Perhaps there's something in here that tells us about it. Let us see. And this comes from us from modifious, so expect a lot of fluff and maybe not much else. And for some reason, it's black and white. I don't know why, but it's black and white. And I'll post a link to this down below if you want to pick up your own copy using my affiliate thing. All right. Welcome to Dunwall. It's hard to read because of the black and white. Dishonored tabletop role-playing game transfers you to the Empire of the Isles and beyond, to the conspiracies and machinations of its political class, religious sects, and populist factions. Creating original characters and playing a story of assassins, duelists, explorers, and scholars, you can forge your destiny and even touch the void. Dishonored presents a grim, merciless world of toil and working-class strifes and glistening Regency halls. So, Victorian steampunk. It doesn't really tell me anything. So I'm assuming that they're going to tell me something about the video games franchise. Here's the character sheet. Our skills are name, age, first truth, second truth, outlook. Our archetype, we got stress, we got void points, we got styles, fight, move, study, survive, talk, and tinker, and styles boldly, carefully, cleverly, forcefully, quietly, and swiftly. Is this the same 2D20 system as the rest of Modifious? This is a completely different system. And we're looking at 313 plus pages of nonsense. All right, here we go. I expect also a lot of art from the video game. So it takes place in an alternate take on London. Is this the one where the whole world was flooded? Is that what this one is? Is that Dishonored? Looks like the people who designed the video game does have some interaction with this. Here's our Assassin's Creed Dishonored dude. a little cartoon. With I don't know what's going on, but it's a cartoon, comic books. That's cool. And okay. And then we switch to this art style. And Into the Isles. So here's an introduction to the world. Interactive storytelling game that plays in the conversation with your friends, set in the world of the Empire of the Isles, which I guess is sort of Britain. Different characters you can play. The tip about the supernatural stuff going on. Some safety tools. What is Dishonored? Oh, excuse me. So this tells us about the world. Gaslamp fantasy, alternative universe, Victorian era of the 1800s, inspired by Oscar Wilde, Mary Shelley, Jules Verne, and Arthur Conan Doyle. Knowledge and special skills, trust and power. But it doesn't really tell me into the world. 4 islands, hereditary monarchy, something about the salt, weather beaten. Okay, tell me about the world. I've never played the video game, so convince me to get into this world, as opposed to every other world book out there that's done the exact same thing, including my favorite, Freeport. Oh, it's islands. Oh, it's an alternate European history. Oh, it's Jules Verne, steampunk. No one's done that before. This is a totally new. So you gotta convince me, person who's never played the video game, that this book is worth it to me. You gotta hook me in the very beginning. That I would want to play this. Remember, again, this isn't a review. This is me walking to a game store, opening this up, and going either, wow, this looks really cool. I want to buy this. I want to play it. I want to know more about it. Or, yeah, I don't get it. How is this different than every other game that's done this already? And I haven't played the video game, so what's in it for me, right? And does Victorian England work as an IP? Of course it does, because it's been done 100 times. Oh, another role-playing game based upon Jules Verne and Arthur Conan Doyle. There's none of those. The themes are order and chaos. I don't know why it's black and white. Religion versus cults. Rulership versus the meek. Then the many outweigh the few, but the few hold all the power, so they're able to keep the many constantly in the place that they need to be, so the few can continue to rule, and the ruling class doesn't change. I guess she's the main character in the game. Is that who you play in the game? Is this young lady playing the game? Core rules. Oh, excuse me. Game master responsibilities, rolling dice. Oh, it does use the 2d20 system. Stats range from 4 to 8. I don't know why we got 4 to 8. It seems to be unusual. Why not 1 through 4 or 1 through 10? And then the skills range, again, 4 through 8, with 4 presenting a weakness and 8 representing the strongest emphasis. That seems completely arbitrary. Did you just pick 4 and 8 because all the other ones were taken? Well, somebody's already done 1 through 10. Let's be unique. Do 1 through 12. No, let's even be more unique and do 4 through 8. Nobody's done that. Yeah, because why 4 through 8? Why not 1 through 5? 1 through 10. 10 to 20. I don't. It seems very arbitrary. I hope that they explain it. And then you get to pick the focuses. Okay, so we've seen this before. It's a test-based skill system. You roll D20. If you beat the target number, you succeed. If you don't beat the target number, you fail. Challenges range from simple to daunting. Contests, a system, momentum. You can use momentum to buy more dice rolls. Do you buy them now or do you buy them later? You know, the gambling option. Do I want to spend my momentum now to get the extra D20, or do I want to hold off and get the extra dice later on in the game? And if I hold off too long, have I just wasted my momentum points because I didn't use them at all? So that's cool. I like that mechanic. It's like Benny's and Savage Worlds or any other system that has that gambling aspect coordinated where you can spend action points or momentum or whatever. You have a finite point value of these things. So you got to justify, do I spend it now? Do I spend it later? What happens if I don't spend it at all? Can I carry over to the next game? Usually the answer to that is no, but you know. Something called the Chaos Pool. I guess that's what the bad guys get. I swear my eyes are getting worse, guys. The GM has a pool where they can also buy dice. Okay, so this is the player's pool, and then this is the DM's pool. This is like the fear mechanic in Daggerheart or any other thing where the DM has a finite number. I'm going to use finite a lot, aren't I? A finite number of things they can use to jigger the dice, to fudge the dice, either in the player's. Okay, so I'm going to take a break from talking about the game to talk about this idea, because apparently it's intrinsic to the game. You ever notice I use way more bigger words when I'm doing these? This is a dumb and pointless idea. I am the DM. I don't need a pool. I don't need Mother May I don't need points. I don't need anything. I am in complete and utter control of the universe to a point. If I want something to happen, it happens. If I don't want something to happen, it doesn't happen. I have complete control of the universe. Some DMs abuse that, but most DMs are like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to run with it. But I don't need special points if I want my bad guys to get an umph. Or I don't need special things to throw at the players to make their lives worth, but I have a finite amount of fear points that I can use, or chaos points, or whatever. Oh no, I've only got so many chaos points that I can use during the game to fudge the dice. I don't need that. If I want to blow to hit, it hits. Doesn't matter what your arbor class is. And if I want you to not die, you don't die. And it's as simple as that. I don't need to justify anything I do. You want the DM to not be a jerk about it. You want to roll your rolls in front of everybody and let whatever happens, happens. If my bad guy misses, my bad guy misses. If my bad guy natural 20s, my bad guy natural 20s. Whatever, you know, I roll in the open. I don't give my guys any special umph, but I could, you know, if it was a themed encounter, if I want to use DM fiat, as we used to call it, or whatever, I don't need to spend points. I shouldn't have to spend points. There shouldn't be anything that hinders me from telling the story if that's the way I want to go. If I want you to go to Westminster Abbey, you're going to Westminster Abbey, whether you like it or not. Now, a decent DM won't do that. A decent DM will go, okay, they're not going to Westminster Abbey. They're going to Starbucks. How can I spin this so whatever that was going to happen at Westminster Abbey, I can move to where they're going? Because technically Westminster Abbey is just a location. It's the event that's important, right? And then I could also always jigger the scenes to get them back to Westminster Abbey through a roundabout way, but so it feels like it was their choice, right? Or I could just force them and deal with the consequences. So I don't need this. This is dumb. Do not include this in your game. Okay, returning to English. Then we have the void, which I guess is where the magic-y stuff comes from. All right. Scenes and stakes. All right, we are 29 pages in. Still don't know how to make a character. Action, movement, and action order. Okay, yeah. Well, create your truth. My truth is that I'm going to take this axe and hit you over the head with it. Then make the skill test. D20 versus my hit person with axe skill versus the difficulty to hit the person with the axe. Pass or fail, blah, blah. Okay, movement. Why? Why is there just a piece of black? Do you just hate our printers? Skill plus style plus focus. Success, you create one momentum. I spend the momentum to check out the house. Unnecessary points. I do like, I like the idea of the rats carrying the secret messages. I might have to steal that. Instead of carrier pigeons, the bad guy has carrier rats. That's actually cool. I don't know if rats would be better or carrier pigeons would be better. I mean, carrier pigeons have to deal with less obstacles, I would think. I don't know. I think it's 60-40, 60% in favor of the pigeon, 40% in favor of the rat. I think if, a rat would probably lose, but I don't know, wonder if anybody's done that experiment, rat versus carrier pigeon. So I do love the idea of showing how to do things with examples. I also like the idea of the example being a comic book. That's something I would have done if I could draw for my product. But the comic book does not need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages to explain to me the action, and I still don't know how to make a character. All right. If I'm in a game store and I'm 41 pages in and I still don't know how to make a character, I'm not buying this game. Especially since it's about a thing I know nothing about other than, hey, this looks like every other game that's done the exact same thing. Combat, stealth, okay. Wow, these are all things that did not need this much space wasted. I hate wasted space. I understand this is how I make our money now. Oh, Pied Piper of Hamelin, but zombies? Okay, that's clever. That's clever. I like that idea too. I like that. Running. Okay, game mastering. Okay, 51 pages in. Oh, that's historically accurate. Okay, chaos. We already went over that. The void / magic. Experience points. Okay, so we know how to get and spend experience points for my character that I still don't know how to make. The protagonist. Okay, finally, we are 60 pages in, and I finally learned how to make a character. This should have been the first 4 pages. All right, let's go to Player's Handbook. 5e Player's Handbook, 2024 5e Player's Handbook. How many pages before I start making a character? 2, 3, 4? And I'm into it. Shadowdark Player's Handbook. How many pages before I know how to make a character? 1. I'm rolling a character up in 1 page. Most every other video role-playing game I own, including the ones I have written, you know how to make a character by the 4th page. From 50 pages in, and I still don't know how to make a character, I'm not buying your game. You need to sell me on your game, and you need to sell me how your Victorian steampunk explore that alternate history of Earth. Why are we so fascinated with that time period? How is yours different than any other game that's come before that and every other game that's come after that that does the exact same thing? Because the gaming industry has this bizarre fascination with steampunk, and all steampunk games are set in the same time period in the same place. Or Jules Verne and Captain Nemo. There were other books. So you have all that going against you. You know that there is a plethora of steampunk alt history Victorian novels and books. And there have been since the 80s. It is a very popular time period. It's a very popular setting. So you're competing with every other alt history, Victorian, steampunk, book, video game, cartoon, television show, movie, whatever. Okay. So your role-playing game that I'm picking up, in 2026 or 2025 that came out in whenever this came out. Not that long ago, I don't think. Does anybody know when this came out? I don't see a publishing on here. 2020. So this came out 4 years ago. So from 1980 something to 2020, you have blah number of games that have done this. And then from 2020 to 2025, you have blah number of games that have done this. All you have going for you is the word of mouth of how good the 2D20 system is, and the link to a video game, which I guess was popular. See, that's the big if for me, is how big is the Dishonored franchise amongst people that they'd want a Dishonored role-playing game. And how is this one different than every other role-playing game that does the exact same thing? So that would be it. I've lost interest because it took you 60 pages to tell me how to make a character. Not knowing anything about the video game, I'm just looking at this and going, I've seen this. I've seen this before. There are 100 games that have done this. How is yours different? Well, it's Dishonored. We're linked to the video game franchise. Okay, yeah, but the video game franchise was one of 1,000 video games that did the exact same thing. How is yours different? Well, we're based upon Jules Verne. And no, okay, that's not different. Every other alt history Victorian steampunk game is the same thing. How is yours different? How are you going to convince me to spend the $50 on this game as opposed to $40 or $20 or $10 on the other games that have come before you and the other games that are coming after you that have done the exact same thing? And you're not going to do it with safety tools. You're not going to do it with me having to wait 50 pages to learn how to make a character. You need to sell me within the first 5 pages why your game is different enough for me to buy it. Other than the fact, well, it's Dishonored and everybody loves Dishonored. Other than I think it's a video game, I know nothing about the franchise. I've never seen anybody play it. I've never heard anybody talk about it. Not that I'm a video game guy, but I hang out with people who talk about video games all the time, and nobody's ever gone, oh, dude, did you just finish that scene in Dishonored where so-and-so did the thing? No, never. It's never come up in a conversation. Now, sidebar, why is this chunk of history so popular in America? Why are we, as American video game designers, role-playing game designers, comic book designers, so fascinated with the Jules Verne alt history, Victorian England steampunk? Why aren't we fascinated with American steampunk, or South American steampunk, or Russian steampunk? Why is it that time period? We love the alt history Victorian more than we love the Old West. There should be hundreds of Weird West steampunk games, and I don't know. Somebody who's probably smarter than me and has some understanding of psychology could probably explain it. My understanding of pop culture would be like, I don't get it. We have our own mythology. Sidebar back. Yeah, okay. So it's the 2D20 system, so it's got that going for it. There's some ideas in it I liked. I like the spending momentum, spending hero points to get you more 20s. But then, of course, you throw in the whole, well, the DM gets the same thing. That's dumb. That's like, oh, safety tools and DM limitations. Yeah, I'm not fucking buying your game. I could literally write my own. It does the exact same thing. Not enough art, except for the little comics. The comics were cute. I love the idea of using the comics as examples to show you how to play the game. More games need to do that. Teach me by example. Have a running commentary through the game showing me how to play the game. I like that. But it was 8 pages that could have been 1 page. Remember in the old comics where they had the Spider-Man with the hostess, fruit pies, and he'd solve the problem with the hostess fruit pies, and it'd be like 4 or 5 panel Spider-Man solves a problem with the hostess fruit pies. That's what I would want if you'd done it in a comic book. 4 or 5 panels, 1 page explaining the premise, move on, and then we do return to that format again later on. If I could draw, that's how I would have done the art in Vigilantes, and how I would do the art and the product I'm working on now with the little teeny comic strip. But the little teeny comic strip would only take up 1 page. The little teeny examples would only be a paragraph. So I guess what I'm saying is if you're a fan of the video game and you want to read more about the world, well, there's probably already a book out there that's done that. So I really don't see what the selling point of me spending $50 because Modifious had to pay for the IP for a game that's been done. And I know Aaron the Relentless will watch this and point out to me which game has done the same thing and then better. Because there are hundreds of other Victorian steampunk alt history England out there. I could mine any of those and just say, I've played Dishonored and I'm going to use that as the background for this game, but the system I'm using is X. And that system you can get on drive-through for like $5. Or you could use the links down below. See how I did that? You could use the links down below to buy my games from drive-through, including my Weird West alt history, where I embrace the fact that America has its own Weird West steampunk mythology. You could also support the OGGM by buying me a coffee through the Ko-Fi, link down below. If you want to pick up a copy of Dishonored, you can use my affiliate link down below. If you want to buy something else that's game related, did you know I am an Only Crits Dice affiliate? That's right. You can buy yourself a set of Only Crit Kite dice through the link down below. They are the only tabletop role-playing dice officially tested and officially approved by Steve the Cat. So that's got to mean something. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you could support me, especially with the holidays coming up. But the best way you can support me, obviously, is just letting me know you appreciate all the time and effort I spend every week mumbling off this nonsense to you guys and letting you know how much I appreciate you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me, to listen to me complain about a role-playing game for 27 minutes. Thank you very much. I appreciate you hanging out. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. You don't know what to do. Stay safe out there, and I don't know, something appropriately Victorian. Yo-ho, you scurvy, God save the Queen.
Monsters lurking in the night, heroes ready for the fight. Dice are clapping.